Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting in association with Mossberg Firearms. Built rugged, proudly American.
Welcome to another episode of Ducks Unlimited TV. I'm Ashley Ward. True timber hunting has been a challenge for the DUTV film crew for several years. We zig and the birds zag. But we were able to find some success for this episode in the woods of Arkansas and the flooded breaks of Mississippi. You won't want to miss it next on Ducks Unlimited TV.
Well, this episode of DUTV, I was so excited because I got to bring my best friend Margot along with me. She's never been on a duck hunt before and she's always wanted to go, so it was a super special moment for both of us.
Well, being from Louisiana, duck hunting is certainly a part of the culture, and it's been something I've always wanted to try. Hearing Ainsley talk about it only magnified it, so when she mentioned the opportunity of getting to join her on a hunt, I jumped.
We had a friend with us, Dr. Phillip. He came out. He's also a member of DU, someone who's very passionate about conservation and duck hunting. He can definitely blow a duck call, and it was fun to share, the outdoors with another fellow hunter and supporter of DU.
Growing up here in Arkansas, my favorite type of duck hunting is flooded timber duck hunting, and that's what I grew up doing with my father. We hunt fields occasionally, but whenever duck season rolls around, we're really thinking about the days that we're going to be standing next to a tree and calling big groups of mallards into the decoy spread.
You got your first duck?
It was awesome. It was what you were saying. It was awesome.
I'm excited for you. You did a great job, made an excellent shot.
It's a lot of fun. Ready for some more?
All right, let's get after it. So the great thing about this hunt was that it was a true representation of introducing someone to duck hunting. Margot had never been, she had never put on waders before. She got to experience what it means to get set up, behind the buckbrush and just get comfortable and kind of taking it all in. This morning when we got out there, it was a little foggy, but Phillip was on point. This was really his stomping ground, so he knew exactly how the birds were going to work and what that was going to look like with the fog and the rain that was to come.
So this morning we're kind of in a buckbrush hole that backs up to some flooded timber. It's a hole that I've hunted in the past and we've been decently successful at. This late in the season we're trying to find an area that has not got a lot of pressure. And so we found some birds in here the night before, and so this morning we've got pretty high hopes.
Ducks Unlimited Television, presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting. Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Blades, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited, and Ducks Unlimited's Rescue Our Wetlands campaign, banding together for waterfowl.
Well, weather conditions were not exactly ideal on this hunt. You know, the water had dropped out across the state, which if you've hunted Arkansas before, you know that's not exactly prime conditions. On top of that, we had a lot of fog this morning. The fog stayed in heavy. It lifted a little bit later in the day, but with the lifting of the fog came a little bit of rain.
We had planned on hunting some flooded timber, but the water level's been so low this year that the opportunities are pretty sparse. And so we had to go with plan B. And so with the conditions that we had, we're kind of stuck with finding some buckbrush holes here and there.
It was so interesting to get to see all the different types of birds, from mallards to teal. Hearing the wings flap above me just made my heart beat a little bit faster, and when they got up close, wow, what an experience.
You know, so much of hunting is just about being out there, getting to share in the good Lord's creation with friends and family and enjoy that. But I will say, it's always a bonus when you've got a bunch of greenheads.
Most of the morning we're working mallards pretty well, but we also had some teal come in a couple times, and the difference between the speed of a teal and the speed of a decoy mallard was pretty significant. And so Margot had an opportunity to kind of see the difference in the different types of species of ducks.
Coming low. Ready, shoot. So those are teal. You saw how fast they flew.
To all those who've never experienced duck hunting, I would highly encourage you taking any opportunity you may have to get out there. And to those of you who know people who haven't, take the opportunity to invest in them. It was such a wonderful experience for me and something I would recommend to anyone who has never tried.
What I like most about duck hunting is you get to spend a lot of time with your friends, and whenever you get to spend time with best friends like Ainsley and Margot, they got to share the experience with each other. It's just a lot of fun, and especially help out an organization like Ducks Unlimited that's really focusing on conservation and making sure that opportunities like what we experience today, we're going to be present for future generations to come, is a pretty unique experience.
I think I would say without a doubt my most memorable moment of hunting Arkansas was just looking over and having my best friend standing beside me, knowing that we were getting to experience this together. She had never been on a duck hunt before, so whether she killed a bird or not, for me, just being out there with her, getting to laugh, getting to share in the good Lord's creation, that made it all worth it.
Throughout history, Arkansas has been one of the great waterfowling states. That tradition continues today as hunters from all over the world travel to Arkansas to experience its abundant waterfowl and unique habitats. It's no coincidence that Arkansas is also one of the great states for conservation, providing unparalleled wildlife habitat and public hunting opportunities, and also contributing to conservation programs on the breeding grounds. For 30 years, Ducks Unlimited and the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission have worked together on important projects across the state, especially on wildlife management areas most of which are open to hunting. DU and its partners have invested $51 million in Arkansas projects, conserving more than 360,000 acres. For 50 years, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission has also been a leader in supporting waterfowl conservation on the breeding grounds. Recently, they contributed $580,000 to DU's conservation work in Saskatchewan. DU matched that money, and it was matched again with money from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the North American Waterfowl Conservation Act for a total of $2.3 million. In total, the Commission has contributed more than $6.6 million to DU's work in Canada. Great waterfowl hunting is no accident. It takes dedication and careful habitat management up and down the flyways. You can find out more about hunting and conservation in Arkansas at ducks.org.
DU Insights is brought to you by Mossy Oak Properties. Find your favorite place at mossyoakproperties.com. DU TV is powered by Mossberg Firearms, built rugged, proudly American. Mossy Oak Properties, America's land specialist. Kent Cartridge, performance, quality, tradition, biologic, scientifically proven wildlife products. Higdon Outdoors, quality, customer service, innovation. That's Higdon Outdoors. And Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs.
It's another exciting year for DUTV. We got to head back to Wildlife Inc. to do another hunt with Mr. Bill at Mossy Oak and Mr. Bo Prestige of Wildlife Inc.
I first met Bo Prestige when our camera crews started hunting with Wildlife Inc. Could have mallard hunting as good as anybody, but if you didn't, you might be hunting gadwalls or teal, or he's right on the county line between Sunflower and the 4 counties in the Delta, and traditionally that's the best duck hunting in the state.
Last year when y'all came, didn't get an opportunity to hunt with Ainsley. This year I got to spend one morning in the blind with her there, and I think she got out at LSU. I wouldn't tell anybody that because, you know, I'm from Mississippi State. That's okay, we'll forgive her that, you know, long as she hunts.
You know, Bo is one of the more interesting folks you'll meet. He's passionate outdoorsman, conservationist, hunter, but he's a guy that believes in giving back.
DU is reaching out, trying to enhance the habitat, trying to do the things that we need to do, and that's what you have to do. We got a 640-acre project. We just got through actually developing it to the extent of the dirt work this fall. Next year, all the trees will be planted, all the food will be planted. We'll be working a lot of moist soil, so we're really on fire about that.
You know, this hunt reminded me a lot of last year. We were at Wildlife Inc. It was end of the season and it was unseasonably warm. So as you can imagine, the birds weren't cooperating like we hoped that they would.
We're sitting here this morning at 61 degrees and we're trying to duck hunt. And it's just going to be extremely hard to make something like that happen. And the wind's blowing out of the south. And not only that, that's the coolest day we've had in 2.5 weeks. And just very few ducks at all. And what they're doing is when this weather's hot like this, and they're sitting on that water and they got a little place to eat, they don't have to move.
While we were having a great time at Wildlife Inc., there just weren't any birds flying. So Mr. Bill picked up the phone, he called Mr. Toxey, and we decided to make a move up to West Point. Well, once we got into West Point, we got to talk a little bit about the spot that we'd be hunting in the morning. We were going to be hunting with Lainey of Mossy Oak Properties, and they had a lot of success at this spot early season. So again, fingers crossed that things were going to happen for us in the morning.
Preparing your dog for their first hunt in flooded timber, it's not a great idea to start on the water unless you're real fond of swimming. It's Wild Rose Law number 8, get it right on land before going to the water. Stephen here with young Drake. He's going to make a nice little memory, send the dog from the memory, and stop and handle. There's a lot of things going on when we're getting ready to hunt on the water. First, obstacles. Hand signals. You have to stop the dog where he can see you. If you stop him behind a tree, you're in trouble. Marking is not always so easy. The bird may go right in behind a tree and see a big splash, but the dog never sees it. These are the things you have to prepare for before you get on that flooded timber hunt. But in Drake's case, we want to make sure he does it right on land because we can go out and help him. We can go out and make corrections. We can help him correct those hand signals if there's a problem. He gets his confidence on land before going to the water.
Duck Dog with Mike Stewart is presented by Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. DUTV is brought to you by Bush Hog, performance you can count on. Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting, native nurseries, hand-selected, hand-grown plants for wildlife. Buck Gardner Calls, champion of champions, with closed captioning provided by Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Blades, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited.
When you blow a duck call loud and soft, a lot of people, they feel like they really got to put something into some emphasis and grunt, and that's completely far-fetched from the truth. You know, the only difference that I like to explain to guys is all air pressure. When I'm blowing hard, it's my mouth is just barely open like that, and the same amount of pressure when I go down low. No, it's just real fine right there. Like I said, just the head of a pencil it's coming out. A lot of people that are calling, they'll want to get down low and they're not putting enough air in, so they're and they're just down to a fine grunt. If you'll just seal that down and blow, put as much air into that call as you're putting on the top end, your top and your bottom end will be right on point this season.
Duck Tactics has been presented by Buck Gardner Calls, champion of champions.
Here we go.
Well, when we set this hut up, we were hopeful we could go and get 3 good days of hunting in over at Bowes. But it's late season and you gotta sort of go where the ducks are. And that's why we made arrangements to come back over here and see if we could get into a few. And as always, it was a lot of fun. And BB got to pick up a few ducks, which makes it fun for me.
This is a duck.
The first duck.
It's my favorite duck.
Gadwall.
Gadwall.
It's a very pretty morning. We've got
Right here. Duck.
Yeah, here we go.
Ready?
See him?
Take him. Take him.
Good shot.
We don't hunt just to kill ducks. We hunt because it's a great outdoor experience. You hunt for the friends that you're hunting with and telling stories and sharing time in the blind together. As we coined the phrase many years ago, we love the sound of whistling wings and watching ducks cup and watching ducks fly. You know, you have to keep it in perspective of why you do it and why you go.
It's really important to us at Mossy Oak, and of course at Ducks Unlimited too. We're on the same mission, is to encourage that stewardship to continue the resource for years and years to come.
Being able to work with Ducks Unlimited on a professional level over the years has been very gratifying for Toxiana and the whole company. We've had relationships with them on and off, but I don't think it's ever been more rewarding and satisfying to us than the opportunity we have now with Mossy Oak being the official camo of Ducks Unlimited. And we're very humble that we're able to do that. And it's very gratifying to us. All right, guys, get ready.
all right. Good shooting, guys.
I think there's a saying that a bad day hunting is better than a good day at the office. Might be a little different at Mossy Oak because sometimes we don't really feel like we're really working. Being able to hunt with Ansley a couple of days, it's always fun to hunt with Lanny, and just having the opportunity to get outdoors and fresh air. Probably we will have a lot of ducks in February. That's what's going to happen. It's been tough, and they'll cover us up in February.
Good shot.
Good shot.
BB.
Well, it was great to be back hunting in Mississippi again with Mr. Bo and everyone at Wildlife Inc., along with Mossy Oak and Mr. Bill and Mr. Toxey. I so appreciate you all having me out, and it was great for DUTV to come back, give them one last run before the season closes.
Special thanks to Toxey Hayes and the folks at Mossy Oak Brand Camo, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited, for their help with this episode and their long-running conservation efforts on behalf of waterfowl. Please visit ducks.org for more, and see you next time on DUTV.